listen closely, because this is not an ordinary moment. The air around you has shifted. The atmosphere itself bears witness that something has changed. Heaven has whispered your name, yes, your name, and that whisper has echoed across realms. You may not see it yet, but every unseen force that once stood still is now moving in your favor. What you felt delay you before will now begin to open before your very eyes. There is a stirring in the spirit. What was once hidden is being revealed. What was once silent is beginning to speak. You are being called forth not by people, not by circumstance, but by divine appointment. You've been through the wilderness, you've been through seasons of silence, and you've wondered if heaven even remembered your name. But this is the hour of remembrance. You've been marked by divine intention. Your name has been spoken in the courts of heaven. What others overlooked, heaven highlighted. What was denied to you in the natural is being released in the supernatural. And this time it will not slip through your fingers. This time you will see the manifestation of what you prayed for in tears. You've walked through long nights carrying promises that seem too heavy to hold. But the Lord says, I have not forgotten you. I have heard every whisper, every sigh, every unspoken cry. The delay was not denial, it was divine timing, aligning with destiny. You may feel like you're standing at the edge of something you cannot name, but that's because what's coming has never been seen before. This is a now moment, a divine intersection where what you have carried in faith is about to collide with fulfillment. The heavens are moving. Angels are taking position. The pieces that once seemed scattered are aligning. Your name has been called not in judgment, but in commissioning. You are being summoned into purpose. So don't shrink back now. Don't question your worth or replay your past. You were chosen for this time, this generation, this exact alignment of heaven's will. Something is breaking open. Something is about to shift in your favor. The waiting is ending. The movement has begun. Heaven is calling your name, and everything attached to your destiny is starting to move. You can feel it, can't you? That quiet vibration in your spirit, the sense that something unseen is drawing near. It isn't your imagination. Heaven has set a motion in place, and the rhythm of that movement has found its way into your soul. You've stepped into a divine timeline where coincidence no longer exists, only confirmation. For so long, you've been walking by faith, holding on to invisible threads of promise. You didn't always have proof, just a knowing that refused to die. Every time you thought of letting go, that whisper came again, gentle but unshakable. Hold on, I'm not finished with you. Those weren't mere thoughts. They were downloads from eternity messages carried through the silence by the Spirit who knows your name. Heaven has remembered. The same voice that called creation out of nothingness is now calling you into visibility. What was spoken over your life before you even took your first breath has reached its appointed hour. God is not improvising with your story. He's unveiling what he already completed long ago. Every delay, every detour, every closed door, it was part of the choreography of divine precision. And now the stage of your life is being reset. The lights of destiny are turning toward you. The scroll with your name is being unsealed. There is a sound in the spirit realm that resembles the opening of ancient gates. Because that's exactly what's happening. The ancient gates that held your next season are swinging wide. Heaven moves with purpose. When the Almighty decrees, creation responds. Winds shift, paths clear, even resistance bows. And right now, heaven is not asking permission. It is issuing a command. Release what belongs to them. Return what was withheld. Elevate what was chosen. You've wondered why things had to take so long. Why it seemed as if you were being overlooked while others advanced. But God was not late. He was aligning the hour. Your waiting became a womb for revelation. In your stillness, you learned to hear him more clearly. In your pain, you discovered how to carry his glory with humility. That was never punishment. It was preparation. Every tear you've shed, every sleepless night, every prayer whispered into the dark, they have formed a fragrance that has risen before the throne. Heaven has not just heard you, it has responded. The movement you sense is not random. It's the unfolding of divine orchestration. You're stepping into a moment that was written long before you were formed. This is not about luck or chance. It's about divine remembrance. The hand that lifted prophets, kings, and warriors is the same hand resting on you now. So breathe. Don't rush the rhythm. Let the revelation settle into your spirit. Heaven knows your name, and its movement is not delayed. It's deliberate. Every motion in the unseen is working for your unveiling. Something ancient is awakening around you. The veil between what was promised and what is unfolding is thinning. The moment heaven has been preparing is now stepping forward, and it bears your name like a seal. You've crossed from waiting into manifestation, from wondering into witnessing. What you once felt approaching in the distance is now standing before you. In the unseen, a decree has gone forth. It is time. Time for hidden things to emerge, for divine justice to be executed, for long silent prayers to break open into visible answers. Heaven has not simply acknowledged your faith, it has rewarded it. The portals of promise have opened, and what was delayed has been released. You may feel a strange calm, a quiet expectancy rising inside you. That's the confirmation of alignment. You are standing beneath an open heaven. The oil that once flowed through prophets, priests, and kings is flowing again, this time through you. What you carry is not ordinary. The call on your life is not a suggestion. It's a heavenly assignment sealed with divine urgency. The prophecy is this: heaven has moved and the earth must now respond. The things that resisted you will begin to collapse under divine pressure. The things that fled from you will return. The things that once seemed impossible will bow to the command of God's timing. This is the hour when your name becomes a signal in the spirit realm, when favor, resources, connections, and opportunities begin to locate you without your striving. You are being positioned for divine visibility, not to glorify yourself, but to demonstrate the reality of God's promise fulfilled. Every injustice that touched your life will now serve as evidence of divine vindication. What was meant to bury you has become the soil that will elevate you. The very areas where you were mocked will become the places where heaven displays its glory. Those who once questioned your worth will witness what only God could do. This is not about revenge, it's about revelation. The world will see that those who trust in the Lord are never forsaken. You will notice doors open, suddenly doors that have been shut for years. Conversations will shift. People will appear who carry the missing pieces of your destiny. Resources will flow towards you, not away. You'll sense acceleration as if heaven has pressed a divine fast-forward button. But even in the acceleration, there will be peace. Because this movement is not chaos, it's orchestration. It's the fulfillment of prophetic timing. You are not running ahead. You're being carried by the current of divine momentum. The Lord says, I am calling forth what bears your name. The land will yield its increase. The favor that seemed withheld is returning sevenfold. The delay was to multiply the impact. The season of striving is ending. The season of supernatural ease is beginning. Do not be surprised when sudden shifts occur, when things you thought were gone forever return with greater strength. Heaven has issued a recall on everything attached to your destiny. Relationships, ideas, dreams, even forgotten passions are being resurrected by divine command. You will sense heaven's fingerprints everywhere, doors opening without your knock, confirmations arriving before your question, peace settling before the answer. This is how you'll know the movement around you will match the stillness within you. The prophecy being unveiled is not only about breakthrough, it's about transformation. You are not simply stepping into blessings, you are stepping into identity. This movement is not about gaining something, it's about becoming someone. Heaven's movement is not a momentary miracle, it's a shift in authority. You are being raised as a carrier of divine purpose, a living testimony that faith does not expire. Everything you've endured has positioned you to walk in a dimension of grace you could not have accessed before. So lift your head. The time of proving has ended. The time of unveiling has come. The words spoken in secret are about to echo in public. Heaven has moved, and now the earth will witness what heaven already decreed. Every movement in heaven carries meaning. Nothing shifts in the unseen, and without purpose in the seen. The calling of your name is not merely symbolic. It is spiritual law in action. When heaven speaks your name, it awakens the blueprint of your destiny, the divine code written into your being before time began. What you are sensing now is that divine script activating in real time. This is the mystery of divine timing. It is not about clocks or calendars, it's about alignment. You are stepping into a vibration that matches the frequency of what was promised. In the spirit, everything obeys timing. Seeds don't break open before their season. Stars don't appear before their appointed dawn. And you, your purpose, your calling have reached that moment when heaven and earth agree. For years you may have felt misplaced, unseen, or misunderstood. That's because you were not meant to fit into common rhythms. You were born for a moment that required divine synchronization. While others were building visibly, you were being built invisibly. While others displayed their progress, heaven was perfecting yours in silence. The stillness was never absence, it was incubation. The pain you endured was not random. It was sacred pressure forming the vessel that could carry divine fire. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every detour, these were chisels in the hand of the potter, carving out capacity for greater glory. When heaven moves, it does not consult the opinions of men. It moves according to eternal patterns. That's why the ones who doubted you will be confounded. They never saw what God was forming behind the veil. Your story has been a sacred paradox, concealment before coronation. God hides what he values until the right moment of revealing. And now, revelation meets readiness. The calling of your name in heaven signifies that your preparation has reached maturity. You've been tested in secret so that you could be trusted in public. The silence was not punishment. It was promotion in disguise. There is also a deeper message in this prophetic movement. Heaven's remembrance is always connected to heaven's responsibility. When heaven calls your name, it takes ownership of your outcome. God doesn't just announce, he performs. That means what he has begun in you, he will finish, and what he has promised, he will fulfill. You are living proof that divine delay is not divine neglect. There are seasons where God holds back manifestation, not because you are unworthy, but because he's aligning the environment to sustain the miracle. A tree planted too early in winter cannot survive the wind. But when the season shifts, the same tree flourishes effortlessly. This is your spiritual season of effortless alignment. The doors that once refused to open will now respond to your knock because your authority has changed. Heaven's movement has upgraded your spiritual access. You will no longer strive for what already belongs to you. You will simply step into it. Understand this: when your name is called in heaven, it reverberates in the earth. People, opportunities, and resources begin to move unconsciously toward you. The right conversations happen at the right time. The right helpers appear with no explanation. It's not coincidence, it's divine orchestration. You are stepping into a realm where manifestation flows through ease, not exhaustion. This is the paradox of grace. Effort remains, but strain disappears. You still labor, but the weight of burden lifts because you are now working with heaven, not for heaven. Spiritually, this moment signifies completion of cycles. The old chapter, the one filled with hidden warfare, spiritual drought, and deferred hope, is closing. The new chapter, the one filled with visible fruit, divine rest, and supernatural acceleration, is opening. The seasons of being overlooked are transforming into seasons of being overtly favored. This transition also carries a sacred warning move with humility. Favor without humility becomes pride, and pride always distorts purpose. The reason you were refined through pain was to ensure that your promotion would not destroy your soul. God never gives power without first building purity, and now that purity has become your passport into promise. The meaning of this divine movement is simple yet profound. Heaven remembers what the earth forgets. Every prayer, every act of faith, every moment you chose love instead of bitterness, it was all recorded. Heaven is a just recorder, and in this season it rewards faith that did not fade in silence. You are being written into a new story, not as a survivor, but as a sign. Your life will become living evidence that God's timing, though mysterious, is always merciful. You are a walking prophecy proof that when heaven calls your name, even the impossible must obey. This is what it means for heaven to move now. It's not only about breakthrough, it's about awakening destiny, reactivating purpose, and revealing the true weight of who you are in God's eternal design. The shift you feel isn't external. It's internal alignment between what you carry and what heaven has decreed. And now that alignment has been sealed. When heaven moves, the natural world starts to echo. The invisible begins to leave fingerprints in the visible. You may not see lightning or hear thunder, but subtle confirmations start surrounding your days, gentle, personal, undeniable. They don't arrive with noise, they arrive with knowing. The first sign is divine alignment. Suddenly, the chaos that once clouded your path begins to organize itself. Tasks that used to feel heavy become light. Projects fall into place without explanation. People who once drained your energy fade quietly from your circle, while new faces carrying peace and clarity begin to appear. You won't have to chase. What belongs to you will start to chase you. The second sign is synchronicity. Repeated numbers, recurring words, or moments that seem too precise to be coincidence. You may glance at the clock and always see the same pattern or hear the same phrase from different mouths in the same day. These are heaven's breadcrumbs, subtle signals that say, keep walking. You're in step with destiny. The third sign comes through spiritual sensitivity. Your dreams may intensify. You might wake with phrases ringing in your heart or scriptures resonating in your spirit. Songs, visions, or even quiet impressions begin to carry deeper weight. Heaven starts communicating in layers through nature, through people, through moments. So ordinary, they become sacred. Then comes the inner peace that surpasses logic. You'll notice that circumstances around you might still look uncertain, yet inside there's a stillness that cannot be shaken. That peace isn't denial, it's confirmation. It means your spirit has heard the verdict before your eyes have seen the evidence. Another sign is accelerated manifestation. Doors that once took months to open begin to swing wide in days. Answers arrive before you finish praying. Favor follows your footsteps like a shadow. It's as if time itself begins to cooperate with your purpose. What once felt uphill now feels divinely assisted. You may also encounter resistance from familiar places. Don't mistake this as failure, it's proof of shift. When heaven promotes you, anything built on your past season begins to tremble. Some relationships will test your peace. Some environments will feel too small. That discomfort is not rejection. It's divine redirection. The soil of your destiny is changing, and not everyone can grow where you're going. There will be days when confirmation comes wrapped in conflict. Yet even then, there's an inner whisper. This too is part of your becoming. The final sign is divine echo. You'll start hearing your own words, prayers, or private thoughts reflected back to you through others. A sermon, a stranger's post, a random conversation, they'll mirror what you've just spoken in secret. That is heaven saying, "Yes, I heard you." When these signs converge, don't doubt. They're not random, they're revelation in motion. The language of heaven is subtle but sure, designed to build faith without forcing control. You'll know the difference between imagination and confirmation, because one fades, but the other keeps returning stronger each time. This is how heaven speaks to those whose names have been called not through noise, but through pattern. Watch, listen, and trust the signs. The movement you prayed for has already begun. But before the promise fully blooms, there will be pressure. Before manifestation, there is always a moment of shaking, a final refinement of faith. When heaven moves, the enemy reacts, because movement in light exposes what was hiding in shadow. Do not mistake the turbulence of transition for the absence of grace. It is the friction of old things breaking apart. You may begin to sense resistance rising from places you thought were safe. Conversations that once encouraged you may suddenly turn cold. People who once walked beside you might quietly drift away. Do not chase what heaven is releasing. Sometimes the divine call on your name stirs discomfort in others who are not assigned to your next season. Let them go with peace. Not everyone is meant to witness your unveiling. There will also be spiritual fatigue, that subtle heaviness that comes not from lack of strength, but from spiritual warfare. The enemy cannot stop what God has ordained, but he will attempt to weary the vessel carrying it. He will whisper lies disguised as logic. Maybe it's not your time. Maybe you misheard. When those doubts arrive, remember, lies are loudest right before truth manifests. Another challenge will be the test of patience. Acceleration does not mean instant gratification. Even when heaven moves, earth must catch up. You will be tempted to rush what must ripen, but divine fruit that matures slowly carries lasting sweetness. Trust the rhythm of heaven's unfolding. Premature harvest always spoils what could have satisfied. There may come financial stretching or emotional isolation. Subtle tests designed not to punish you, but to prove what you believe when the evidence disappears. God uses scarcity to refine stewardship and solitude to refine sensitivity. He is not removing support to break you. He's training your ear to recognize his voice above all others. And sometimes the greatest challenge will be silence, those stretches when heaven seems quiet again, right after a word of promise. That silence is not contradiction, it's consolidation. The soil rests after it's been tilled. Heaven pauses to anchor what it has declared. You are not being ignored, you are being stabilized. In these moments, your faith must become sight for what your eyes cannot yet see. Speak life, even when you feel none. Praise in the pause. Worship when the wind stops. The very act of your persistence becomes prophetic warfare. The enemy cannot comprehend worship that flows from weakness. It confuses him and strengthens you. Understand this. The hidden challenges are not detours, they're doorways. Each test refines your discernment, your authority, your capacity to carry greater weight. The pressure you feel is the evidence of heaven's trust. Only vessels prepared by fire can contain glory without cracking. So when the shaking intensifies, don't despair. It means the foundation beneath you is being cleared of what cannot remain. Heaven is not punishing you. It's purifying you. What feels like breaking is actually birthing. Endure with faith, beloved one. These challenges are the final contractions before the delivery of your promise. You are not losing ground. You are crowning destiny. Now that the movement has begun, you must walk wisely. When heaven calls your name, your response determines how deeply you step into the promise. Every miracle carries responsibility. Every blessing demands stewardship. God is not only opening doors, He's teaching you how to walk through them with reverence. The first instruction is, stay anchored in intimacy. Do not allow acceleration to replace devotion. When things start happening fast, the temptation will be to run ahead and forget who started the motion. Guard your mornings. Protect your prayer time. Keep your worship private even when your life becomes public. The same presence that sustained you in the wilderness will sustain you in abundance. If you lose intimacy, you lose direction. The second instruction, move in obedience, not opinion. There will be moments when logic cannot explain what God asks of you. He may tell you to release something precious or take a step that seems unreasonable. Do it anyway. Obedience is the bridge between revelation and manifestation. When heaven speaks, delayed obedience becomes disobedience. You cannot ask for divine momentum while clinging to human reasoning. The third instruction is protect your purity. As visibility increases, so will temptation. The enemy cannot curse what God has blessed, so he will attempt to contaminate it. Guard your motives. Keep your heart free from offense. Do not let bitterness rent space in the temple of your soul. Purity of heart is the currency of spiritual authority. When your heart stays pure, your words carry weight in the spirit realm. The fourth instruction, discern your connections. Not everyone who applauds you is assigned to you. Some are attracted to your light, but not aligned with your purpose. You must learn to distinguish covenant from convenience. Ask the Spirit daily, who is for my next season and who is for my last? Let peace be your confirmation and confusion your caution. Heaven's movement will bring divine partnerships, but discernment will preserve them. The fifth instruction is, speak what you want to see. Your words are not casual, they are creative. Heaven has given your tongue the authority to frame reality. Stop repeating fear. Stop rehearsing disappointment. Begin to prophesy your future even when you feel uncertain. Declare favor. Speak increase. Announce healing. When you align your words with heaven's decree, creation responds. Next, build before it's visible. God is calling you to act in faith, to prepare rooms before the guests arrive, to write the vision before the door opens. Faith is not waiting until you see proof. It's building proof that you believe. If you feel led to create, start now. If you're told to sow, do it now. Obedience in the unseen realm multiplies favor in the visible. The seventh instruction, guard your atmosphere. Peace is sacred real estate. Do not allow gossip, fear, or negativity to rent space in your environment. Create spiritual boundaries. Curate your input, what you watch, what you listen to, what you speak. Atmosphere determines alignment. When your environment carries peace, heaven moves freely. Then comes walk in humility. As doors open, stay grounded. Remember, favor is a mantle, not a medal. The same God who lifts you can trust you to lift others. Celebrate quietly. Help freely. The greatest evidence of transformation is humility that does not need to prove itself. Another vital instruction. Write what God reveals. Heaven is releasing strategies, not just inspiration. Keep a journal by your side. Write the ideas that come like whispers. They are not random, they are blueprints. Some will be businesses, some ministries, some inventions. What you record in faith today will become the testimony of tomorrow. Finally, remain expectant. Do not grow casual just because movement has begun. Expectation is the womb of manifestation. Each day wake with gratitude and anticipation. Say within yourself, "Something good will meet me today." When faith becomes atmosphere, miracles become normal. These are not mere suggestions, they are sacred instructions. Heaven doesn't bless confusion, it blesses preparation. God is not only answering prayers, He's training stewards of glory. Every act of obedience creates a ripple in eternity. So walk carefully, but confidently. Heaven is backing you. Every step you take in faith becomes a decree in the spirit realm. When you move according to instruction, angels move with you. This is your divine responsibility to stay in alignment, to live aware, to guard what you've been given. The calling of your name was heaven's initiation. Your obedience is your activation. Move forward not in fear, but in reverence. Heaven's eyes are on you, and its power is within you. As you begin to walk in obedience, know this: you are not walking alone. Heaven does not call without covering. The same voice that summoned your name has surrounded you with divine protection. The movement of heaven is never reckless. It is always shielded by grace. There are angels stationed around you now, sent to guard the territory of your promise. You may not see them, but their presence is real, swift, vigilant, unwavering. Every step you take in alignment activates their assignment. Where you once felt vulnerable, you will now feel an invisible strength wrapping around you like light. There will be moments when danger passes by and you won't even know why it missed you. That's because heaven intercepted it before it reached your door. There will be conversations you never hear, traps you never see, attacks that never land because God blocked them silently. His protection is not always dramatic. Often it's disguised as divine redirection. Remember the nights you felt a sudden urge to leave early to stay home to take a different route? That was not coincidence, it was covering. The Spirit will continue to lead you through subtle nudges, holy hesitations, and peaceful warnings. Obey them quickly. They are heaven's way of keeping you under the canopy of grace. You are surrounded by fire that the enemy cannot cross. The same pillar that led Israel through the wilderness now leads you through transition. Darkness may press against the borders of your destiny, but it cannot enter. The blood of covenant still speaks louder than accusation, louder than fear, louder than every curse. When anxiety whispers that you are alone, remember divine protection is not measured by what you see, but by what never reached you. Even in your sleep, heaven stands guard. The one who watches over you does not slumber. His eyes scan every threat before it forms. His hands redirect every scheme before it manifests. And beyond angels, you have the presence of God Himself, your refuge, your fortress, your resting place. You carry His Spirit inside you. That means peace travels with you. It means storms may surround you, but cannot drown you. The weapon may form, but it will malfunction in contact with your purpose. So do not walk in fear. Fear gives the illusion of power to what has already been defeated. Walk in peace. Walk in confidence. Walk knowing that your steps are marked by light and your path is guarded by promise. Every chosen vessel carries a glow that darkness cannot imitate. You are that vessel now. The same fire that once tested you now shields you. Stay calm. Stay grounded. Protection is not only around you, it's within you. The presence that calls your name also keeps it safe. Heaven has moved and you are wrapped in its assurance. Nothing formed against you will prevail because the one who called you walks beside you. And now, the shift becomes visible. The stirring that began in the unseen is breaking into reality. You will feel it in the rhythm of your days, in the clarity of your mind, in the peace that lingers even when everything around you is changing. This is transformation, not a slow drifting, but a divine unveiling. The old you has served its purpose. Now the true you emerges radiant and ready. You are no longer the same person who began this journey. The waiting reshaped you. The warfare refined you. The tears watered the ground for your own blooming. The version of you that doubted, questioned, and survived every storm is now giving birth to the version that reigns. You are stepping into fulfillment not as a desperate seeker, but as a living testimony. The things that once broke you now build you. The memories that once haunted you now humble you. You have learned that strength isn't loud, it's steady. That faith isn't a feeling, it's a decision. That destiny doesn't arrive through striving, it unfolds through surrender. And as you walk into this new chapter, you will notice how different the air feels. It's lighter because you've released what was heavy. It's brighter because your spirit has adjusted to glory. The places that once drained you will no longer attract you because elevation always changes appetite. This transformation is not surface, it's structural. Heaven has rewritten your foundation. You carry wisdom where there was once confusion, compassion where there was once bitterness, clarity where there was once fear. You've been remade from the inside out, not by effort, but by encounter. The same power that raised you from despair is now raising you into dominion and fulfillment. Oh, it doesn't come like a flood of chaos. It arrives like morning light. Gentle, gradual, but undeniable. You'll wake one day and realize the waiting is over. The door you prayed for is open. The opportunities that eluded you now arrive effortlessly. What you lost returns multiplied. What you dreamed begins to take form. But fulfillment is more than blessings, it's becoming. It's when the prophecy and the person finally match. It's when your outer world starts to mirror your inner transformation. When you no longer chase signs, because you've become one. When you no longer plead for confirmation, because peace has become your compass. This is what heaven's movement produces: maturity, not just miracles. You have grown into the weight of what you asked for. You are ready for what once would have overwhelmed you. The fire that purified you has also crowned you. And the beauty of this fulfillment is that it never ends. Each promise fulfilled becomes the seed for another. Each breakthrough births another level of calling. The same God who opened this door will open the next. You are not finishing, you are unfolding. So take a moment. Breathe in gratitude. Look back not with regret, but with reverence. Every detour was direction. Every delay was design. Every disappointment was disguised deliverance. Nothing was wasted. You are standing in the evidence of divine faithfulness. Heaven called your name and you answered. And now the world will witness what obedience looks like when heaven moves. Lift your eyes. This is not the end. This is the beginning of visibility, the dawn of destiny. The promise has become person, and that person is you. Breathe. Let stillness fill the room around you. Heaven's movement has not just touched your circumstances, it has rewritten your atmosphere. The storm that once defined you has become the wind that carries you. You are no longer waiting. You are walking in fulfillment. Before we close, let these truths settle into your spirit. They are not simply words, they are decrees. Speak them aloud, for your voice activates what heaven has already declared. Affirmation 1. I am called, I am covered, I am chosen. Every syllable of that statement carries divine weight. You are not random, not replaceable, not forgotten. You were designed intentionally, summoned purposefully, and protected continually. Repeat it until your atmosphere agrees. Affirmation 2. Heaven moves for me because I move with heaven. This is partnership, not performance. You do not chase blessings, you walk with them. As you stay in rhythm with the Spirit, every closed door opens at the appointed time, every crooked path straightens. Affirmation 3. Peace surrounds me like fire. Purpose guides me like light. This peace is not fragile. It is the soundproofing of your soul. Even when noise rises outside, serenity reigns within. You are unshaken, unafraid, anchored. Affirmation 4. What has begun in me will be finished through me. No delay, no detour, no disappointment can erase what God has written. You are the continuation of a prophecy still unfolding. Now receive the blessing. May the light that called your name continue to guide your steps. May every door you enter be filled with favor, and every word you speak carry weight in heaven. May angels walk beside you in silence, deflecting what you never see. May your faith stay fierce when the world grows loud. And may joy, pure, untouchable joy, become your daily companion. The season of striving is finished. You are stepping into supernatural ease, where grace accomplishes what effort never could. Let gratitude be your garment and humility your crown. Walk as one who knows that heaven's eyes follow your journey and heaven's hand sustains your path. Remember, you are not merely surviving prophecy. You are the prophecy fulfilled. Your story has become God's evidence in the earth. So rise boldly, peacefully, gratefully, and step into the movement prepared for you. Heaven has called your name, and now heaven moves through you. Amen. Selah. It is done.